Okay, so I'll hit the recording. Hello, everyone. Good evening. On behalf of IABA Georgia chapter, thank you all for joining us today. Please note, as you might have noticed already, that this session is being recorded and it will be available on our social media platforms shortly after the webinar ends. Today's session is dedicated to CBAP certification, the highest level of certification offered by IABA. And our goal, this webinar's goal, is to give you a clear and as much realistic understanding as possible of what actually CBAP is, what it requires, and whether it is the right next step for you. So let's kick off. Let me briefly walk you through today's agenda. We'll start with a short introduction. Then we'll move on to the CBAP overview, where we'll cover its value, requirements, format, and preparation. And after that, we'll have a panel discussion where you'll hear real experiences from certified professionals. And finally, we'll close with the announcements and your questions, if any remain. So Q&A is actually open throughout the entire session. So feel free to submit your questions anytime in the chat or in the QA area, and we'll address them during the course of the meeting for sure. So my name is Mariam Jokhadze. I'm business analyst and vice president of professional development at IABA Georgia chapter. And I'm currently preparing for CBAP myself. So this topic is very relevant to me, at least, both professionally and personally. So I'll be your host for today's session. So let me introduce our panelists. Veronika Dyatlovich, Senior Business Analyst and Product Owner, CBAP Certified Professional, and our Dr. Günther Reithmaier, Business Analyst, Analysis Expert, CBAP Certified with a background in both research and industry. And they will be joining us during the entire meeting to share their real experiences. So let's move on. Let me briefly introduce IABA and Georgia chapter for those who have not attended our previous meetings or who have attended our meetings. IABA was established over 20 years ago, and it is a leading global professional association for business analysts mainly. Today, it has more than 3,000 members and over 120 chapters worldwide. Quite great number of volunteers and partners as well. Its main goal is to create a global standard for business analysis through creation of community, shared knowledge, internationally recognized certifications, establishing standards, and many more. This is briefly about the Georgia chapter. It was established last year. I hope many of you are aware, and we're proud to be part of this global network. We are a growing community for now, focused on creating some space where business analysts and not only in Georgia can connect, learn, and grow together, establish a network, and many great things as well. So far, our track record shows that we have achieved 8 memorandums to be signed. It were the partnership memorandums. And so far, including this event, we have 5 events held and we have many more planned. So please stay with us. Our mission is to build a strong and active business analysis community in Georgia. We focus on organizing knowledge sharing events, supporting certification journeys, creating mentoring opportunities through study groups that we'll discuss a bit later during the presentation, and mainly strengthening the professional network. So I believe if you are here today, you are also already part of this community. Let's kick off with the CBAP overview. IABA offers 3 main certification levels. Quite sure that most of you are aware. These are ECBA for entry-level professionals, entry certificate in business analysis. We have covered this meeting, although in Georgia, but in future we'll offer this in English as well. CCBA, which stands for Certification of Capability in Business Analysis. This is for mid-level professionals. And our topic, CBAP, Certified Business Analysis Professional, that is designed for more experienced professionals working on some complex initiatives and making high-impact decisions within their projects. What is CBAP? CBAP, as we already mentioned, stands for Certified Business Analysis Professional, and it is the highest level of certification offered by IABA. It demonstrates your ability not just to understand the business analysis, but to apply it in some complex environments and deliver real business value. Why pursue the CBAP? Actually, CBAP not just validates what you know, it validates how you think in complex situations. And this is what many people throughout LinkedIn and other platforms voice about CBAP. At this level, the shift is quite clear. You move from executing tasks to making some strategic, real decisions on the project. So from documenting requirements to actually shaping the outcomes and strategies. And one might say that it signals that you can handle some ambiguity, some work across different stakeholders and different natures of stakeholders, environment, and bring structure to some complex problems. And one more important point is that CBAP is not just about memorizing the BABOK, it is about applying it in real high-pressure situations. This is the quote that many reference to, that CBAP doesn't just prove you know the BABOK, it proves you can deliver measurable business results in the face of complexity. Moving on, we would like to share some facts about CBAP. Globally, there are around 15,000 CBAP certified professionals, maybe even more at this point. In Georgia, this number is still very small, it's just 6. And I'm proud to say that we have 2 professionals within our founders of IABA Georgia chapter that hold CBAP certification. And many professionals also report quite positive career impact after the certification, for instance, increase of salary up to 20%. And based on IABA's data from the surveys, 78% report that they got promoted within 1 year after getting the CBAP certification. So it is a big deal worldwide. Okay, let's get to eligibility requirements and pricing. So you might have noticed, those who are aware, CBAP has very strict eligibility requirements, maybe not very strict, but obviously strict. You need but actually minimum 7,500 hours of business analysis experience within the last 10 years. And you also need experience across multiple BABOK knowledge areas and at least 35 hours of professional development. This is through courses and workshops and everything related to these knowledge areas that you have attended throughout this time. And in addition, you must provide professional references. And in terms of pricing, here I provided, and these are all accessible on IABA website. There are application and exam fees, and sometimes discounts are available for IABA members throughout the year. So you need to just subscribe for the membership, and then you're going to receive the news and updates about any availability of the discounts, or sometimes they send out the information about the free retakes of the exams. Yes, and rewrite, also known as retake. You have up to 3 attempts with the 1 year eligibility period after you have completed the application form, after the application is actually accepted. So all three are paid, of course, and that's what I was referring to, that sometimes IBA makes some of the retakes free. Moving on, yeah, a quick note that we wanted to share, as we have mentioned, there are CDUs that you have to present. So in the previous slide, we had the 35 hours of professional development that is actually a continuing development units. So these CDUs you have to aggregate somehow, right? And our sessions will allow you to do that. So we have one CDU per hour. And how you can get it, if you attend most of this meeting, you can actually write us to our email that is provided down below, info@georgiaiba.org. We'll check your attendance, that you have covered at least 80% of this meeting, and submit a certification for you saying that you've been granted the CDUs for your attendance. That's a small note. Okay, so moving on to format. The exam consists of 120 multiple choice questions, quite many, right? And you have 3.5 hours to actually complete it. It seems it's a lot of time, but based on what I've seen, and I think our panelists will also share their insights, the tests are quite massive to cover during that time. And mostly they are scenario based, meaning that you are tested on decision making rather than just definitions from Babok. And exam can be taken online or at the test center. Online, it is submitted through PSI proctoring, and the pricing score is around 70%, although the exact threshold is not disclosed. And IBA uses different types of measurement scales to actually get your score. Yes, and about the language, for our region, it is mostly accessible in English, although other languages are also available during the certification. And certification validity is 3 years. After it, you need to resubmit your application to be granted the renewed certification. And process is obvious. You register on IBA, submit your application. Your application needs to be approved. Then you get to the payment for actual exam. Application itself is covered by different fee, as we have covered in the previous slide. And payment is different. Payment for the exam is different. And then you schedule the exam via PSI platform, and then you actually take the exam. So moving on about the preparation plan. So preparation requires some kind of a structured approach, of course. First, understand that this is a scenario-based exam. You should focus on how a senior business analyst would think in a particular situation. Second, build your understanding of Babok by connecting it to your real experience, not just memorizing it, as we have mentioned. And third, practice with exam simulations to get used to the format and the time pressure. And finally, focus on your weak areas, because that is where improvement happens the fastest. So that's the notes from our side. And there are several ways to prepare. Obvious one is a self-study that probably many people are using. And also structured training programs are available around the world, different ones. Mostly US-based providers are famous in our area. Or there are IABA-supported learning options. And the best approach depends completely on your learning style and your experience. Okay, moving on. These are the key CBAP resources that we dug out from the website. The most important one is the Babok guide. In addition, there are sample questions, the exam blueprint, and other supporting materials. And these should be your main preparation sources, per se. Yeah, mainly, I think IABA Knowledge Hub would the greatest resource because it has the explanation on all knowledge areas in its own way. And probably our panelists will also share some additional artifacts to use. Okay, at the core CBAP, there is a knowledge area diagram. This represents how Babok is built, and this provides the structure of Babok. And another important model is business analysis core concept model, which defines key concepts such as change, need, solution, stakeholder, value, and context. Understanding these concepts connect this, it's quite critical for the exam, connection of these and the knowledge areas themselves. So the exam blueprint, it actually helps you to understand how topics are weighed across the exam and where you might focus your preparation. So, for instance, greatest weight is on requirements, analysis, and design definition. So you might get more questions or more in-depth questions regarding this, and it will hold the most value in your final score. Yeah, so far we've discussed what CBAP is, what it requires, and how to prepare. But a most important question is, what does this journey actually feels like? Is it worth it? What is more difficult than what is expected, and what really changes after certification? So let's actually hear from our panelists. And first, I would like to present to you Veronika Dyatlovich. Please, Veronika, do a short intro of yourself.
Hello, everyone. I hope you hear me well.
Yeah.
So first, I want to appreciate that you invited me. And a small my introduction. I'm working as a business analyst for 7 years. A few years ago, I decided to pass CBAP, but each time I set this goal in my year goals, but I was failed. I started but never proceed. But in 2024, if I'm not mistaken, I finally decided to pass it and passed it successfully. So you can see on the screen that my focus in as a senior business analyst, as a professional, is e-commerce, marketing technologies, healthcare, document management, and B2B, B2C platforms. And also in as my side projects, I consult business analysts in their career goals. But here, what I wanted to mention about CBAP certification, I have a note with all my thoughts that I have, and I have a few things. What I want to recommend maybe is I saw that on the slide we have 3 years of experience or so. My recommendation here is to have more than 5 years of experience across different projects. I believe this is essential because when you read BA and when you prepare for this certification, so you should have variety of projects, variety of experience to assess yourself firstly, and to analyze your work and your skills. The next recommendation is
Veronika, I think after Günther also does his introduction, we can get to the recommendations. Yes. For sure. Then, yeah. And I have loads of questions, and I'm sure our attendees will also have questions to cover. So yeah, if you allow. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Günther.
Okay, hi. Very good suggestions. I'm feeling this also. What you said. I was also planning initially to do CBAP a lot faster and then postponed for very obvious reasons. which will surely come in questions in the panel discussion. So yeah, a very quick introduction about myself. I'm originally a physicist. I did a PhD in quantum optics a long time ago and worked a bit in research and deep tech, and then sort of got lured a little bit into the IT consulting world and found a home there and worked for something like 10 years now as an IT consultant. They're transitioned sort of from a developer to requirements engineer and then business analyst. And yeah, basically the analyst's role, which is quite versatile, I would say it has very big overlap with, I don't know, like a product manager, a requirements engineer, sometimes also a scrum master, but it can also be just a guy taking notes and and maybe have some good question every now and then. But yeah, it's very broad and versatile, and I found it to be extremely enjoyable. Basically, the most fun role I had so far. So yeah, that's basically why I wanted to formalize it a little bit and wanted to do the CBAP basically. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Great. And maybe you can say a few words regarding your article, or we can
Oh,
cover
yeah.
this by questions.
Yeah, for sure. So after finishing the CBAP, I kind of felt like I need to write about this because it was a pretty intense experience, I found. And yeah, so I did a little LinkedIn article which sort of sketches a little bit the learning journey. So basically, I logged my test results. So as was already told, like doing test exams is very, very crucial. And I logged those results and then looked back at those and identified sort of a little bit like, yeah, what seems to be a good plan to build up your knowledge without stressing too much about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have some personal I don't know, like revelations what worked really well for me during the preparation.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you both for your short introductions. Yeah, before we move on to the panel discussion, let me stop the share. Okay, now stepping to the questions to our dear panelists. So first question would be, what do you think? What was the turning point for you that made you say that, yes, I'm doing this and I will take the step? And was there any moment where you talked yourself out of this? Maybe Günther, you can start.
So what was the point where we decided I do this? Yeah, basically it was the feeling of being a little bit stuck working as a requirements engineer. I think I already did a lot of business analysis work without really knowing that it was called business analysis work. And I knew I was very interested in those more strategic projects where there would be like a big analysis phase of like a few months and going into the inner workings of several different parts of a large company. And then based on the analysis, a decision would be made. And I know this is my interest. And yeah, I wanted to learn how to do this better and also wanted to be a little bit more confident in this, I think. And that's why I Googled and then quickly found that IABA seems to be a good choice. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, same question to Veronika.
I think that I finally found my real motivation. And for as a person who don't have a formal business analysis degree in some business analysis management or administration whatsoever, I'm a former lawyer, and I wanted something that validates my experience from some standards perspective. I wanted to be evaluated by some external organization, and we have this organization. That's was a starting point that when I decided finally to pass it. And I also found myself in Günther's words when I felt that I stuck a bit and I wanted to think wider and to be brave enough to follow not the best practices and being able to explain why I'm not following the best practices, why I'm working on my way. Yeah, that's probably why I forced myself to pass.
Of course.
Start preparation.
Yeah. Okay. And one question to note. So CBAP requires this 7,500 hours of BA experience. And when you looked at that number, do you think that you were enough qualified for that, or it was a burden on you that you didn't have BA specific, this 7,500 hours, or you got it all sorted and that's when you decided that you're going to kick off? Yeah, Veronika, maybe you can start now.
Mm-hmm. Before I start counting, this number of 7,000 hours was nothing for me. So I could not understand what that meant. But as I had more than 5 years of experience without pauses, without a lot of, without a bench, for instance, a lack of projects, I started to count every project, all tasks that I did, how much time I spent, and I was really surprised that I have more than 7,000. I have up to 10,000 or even more, and for me it was very surprisingly to see how much work I did and the variety of work that I did as business analyst. That I recommend just to start counting, and you will not be afraid of this number.
Yeah, valid point. Okay, let's move on to preparation. That is most likely something that everyone would like to understand, your path of preparation. Günther, please walk us through your preparation strategy. How many months did it take for you to prepare, or weeks? Please share.
Yeah, weeks, no, that's the wrong time scale we're talking about. But first of all, I wanted to add one more idea to the 7,500 hours of professional experience. Very similar to what Veronika says. At first, I was it did not really mean anything to me, and then I thought, okay, I never have so much business analysis experience. But then I went through all my projects and found, hey, that's clearly enough. And what was very nice about this is it forced me to sort of sort out my professional experience a little bit. Now I had it all neatly lined up and saw what I really did. Yeah, this is a good feature of that application process. But yeah, to your question regarding the preparation. So to be honest, I underestimated it a little bit. When I started the CBAP, I originally thought, okay, this might be a little bit harder than than those normal 3-day classes, get set certified things. I thought it is a little bit harder, but I passed it no problem. But the very opposite was the case. Like I did my online course with a very good group. I read through part of Barbock. I didn't think I need to read all of it. And then I did some test exams and found out, okay, I really don't know anything about it. And yeah, then I took, because work and life happened also, it took me 9 months, I think. Yeah,
Really?
I think
Wow.
it's possible faster, but if you really work and do other things as well, it takes a long time. And also taking a long time might be a very good thing, because then the knowledge can sink a little bit deeper. Like I did one knowledge area at the time, did a lot of testing there, then focused on another knowledge area, then focused really on my work again, and found like, cool, I can use this new stuff I learned. Then got a little bit more motivated for CBAP again, and so yeah, my general advice is like plan a long time for it, and don't underestimate it. It's really a lot of information.
Günther, let's
Yeah.
be super specific now. What were the resources that you that you used, or did you take any courses? And I've seen this in your article that you attended some, I don't know, Ukraine provider center. Yeah, I would like you to expand on that. What helped you, and what were the resources using which you have covered knowledge areas?
Yeah, this probably depends a lot on the type of learner you are. I learn very, very well from just reading and then summing it up in my own words/pictures. So the actual course I did with the Ukrainian provided was called SoftServe. It was a very nice course, but I don't think it did so much for me actually. What really did do a lot for me was writing it up. So I focused on the knowledge area and just tried to draw a flow chart in my own understanding, more or less. And I shared a few screenshots of those in this LinkedIn article. You can post it in the chat.
In the chat, yeah, please share.
And yeah, this was probably the thing that helped me the most, besides doing lots of exams, obviously.
Yeah, fair point. Okay, Veronika, could you please share your way of preparation? Which resources have helped you, or if you attended any study groups? I know you're leading study groups yourself, but in general, by the time you were preparing for the exam, what was your support?
I have not attended any courses or any preparation trainings, anything. I all did by myself. So if talking about time, I started preparation in the middle of January and passed exam at 5th of May. Then it's almost a bit like 3 months or so. And as a bit control control freak, my preparation, I counted all hours that I spent, and my preparation took around 150 hours in general. So 3 months, 150 hours. That's how much time it took. So as you already said, I decided to learn in a group. I have organized already 3 study groups, but the first study group was when I passed, and the group helped me a lot to keep this tempo. You know, every week we learn the new chapter, and it helped us to read BA during the months and a half, and then go to passing tests. and that's how it works. So it was a tough and funny time, I would say. If I don't have a study group, I think that I will. I gave it up because it's really it supported me a lot, and yeah, I before start I watched a lot of video on YouTube with some specifics, with some question examples, and some discussions about CBAP, and I understood that it's complicated, and I wasn't so relaxed about preparation. And what I here want to draw attention that during this preparation, ideally try to minimize any external pressure from your work or from some personal commitments like holidays, vacations, and you should be focused during the whole this time on the preparation, on reading, analyzing your experience, passing tests, and then it's not a very big deal to pass. Yeah, I believe that's highlights from my preparation.
Okay, that's great. One note that I would like to make regarding the recertification or retake that we have discussed before. My colleague has actually informed me that correct way to put this would be that CBAP certification, it keeps its validity throughout the 3 years. But you need to renew it using the CDUs that we have discussed, so 60 CDUs. If you don't renew it and you have to pay the fee for the renewal, you don't actually have to retake the entire exam. So if you keep the renewal, it will be valid for as long as you do. But if you don't renew it using these CDUs or not paying for the fee, then it's going to be suspended, and you just have to retake the exam to obtain the certification again. So that's a note. My bad not to put this in a more detailed way, but yeah, just for everyone's information. Okay, moving on to the next part. So Veronika, I wanted to ask you regarding this. I know that you led and you're leading BABAC study groups yourself, and so I was wondering, how do you think, what is the weight of participating in study groups when you are about to take exams such as CBAP? How it helps you to get prepared, and how much it matters in general?
In general, it depends on the person. If you are better in self-preparation and you're able to support and support yourself and motivate yourself, then you don't need a study group. But from my perspective, people who are in one chat somewhere, who have the same goal, who have the same issues with tests, who have the same level of stress, and sometimes they don't understand the things that are writing in BA book. It happens that there are some very controversial and unrealistic statements there. So it's all these issues, all these concerns, they can be discussed, and there are people who have the same. So this support in the group is the key thing for me. And all these people, they have their own experience. They have different levels of experience, different projects. And when you raise some question, you discuss and you find the answer. You start to understand the answer, because tests in CBAP, they are not about theory. So there is some questions about pure theory, but most questions are about thinking and about the situation. How would you act in such situation, and how BABOK expects from you? Then communication with colleagues with the same problem helped me a lot. So I definitely recommend to have study group. If you even have 2 people there, 2 or 3 people there, it's much better than you are sitting alone. And when you have study group, you have scheduled sessions every week or every 2 weeks that you have to put in your calendar, and you have to read or pass some tests by this date, and you should do this, and it also motivates you to keep this tempo, as I said.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, Günther, I have another question for you. So your background is quite interesting. It combines doctorate with technical product ownership across multiple industries. So how did that help with your CBAP preparation? Yeah, mainly this. I mean, did your diverse experience support this in any way?
Yeah, I think diverse experience helps a lot with those scenario-based questions. I think as Veronika also said, like this is really a practical exam. The real core of it are those, I think it was 40 scenarios, so 40 scenario-based questions that you get. The others are not so hard, like the theory questions you after a certain preparation time, it's really no problem anymore. But the scenarios are really where the music plays, and the more diverse experience you have, the more the more different things you already encountered, and I think it builds up intuition. So having the experience just feeds the intuition, and then you read the scenario and you have a feeling, okay, this answer might be the correct one. Then you let it run through your BABOK framework. So this is also a very important tip, I think. Actually, it's 2 tips. When you do the exam, start with the scenarios. That's absolutely important because you're still fresh. And before you start the scenarios, write down on your scrap paper, you get a few papers there during the exam, write in your own picture how BABOK works. And then you can check your intuitive answer basically with the picture you wrote, and then you know it should be the correct one then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the case-based questions should be done last. Or you're saying that those questions, I mean, the ones that have, I don't know, 1 or 2 page volume, those you mean to kick off with?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, yeah, because I've heard the other way around from different people that it's better if you do just rest of the questions and push this case-based scenarios last, because it takes huge amount of
It's probably
time.
I did like this. I skipped all these 40 questions at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone has a different strategy regarding that. That's also a good point. Okay, Günther, you got cut off, maybe because of the poor connection. You might want to add something.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly switch my Wi-Fi. I had problems with my Wi-Fi all day now. I will be back in 5 seconds, I think.
Okay, meanwhile, I think, Veronika, we can move on to another question. Yeah, what was the hardest part of the exam itself? And maybe this way we can touch the case-based questions. And by the way, were you prepared for the case-based questions? Because everyone says that, yeah, they're using some simulators like Waterfall and other, but then they come to a realization that, oh, this looks a bit different, quite different to what we've done during the simulation. So what was your experience?
Yes, I confirm that if you are doing tests in Watermark, please do not expect that you will pass all tests and they will be the same. They will have the same on exam. They will not. So how I manage, as I said, I skipped all these questions at the beginning, because when you start the exam and you push the button start, you see this giant case and you're already fallen down with all this information. And I just click until 47 or so, and then return back when I manage my level of stress. Yeah, I return it back and read it carefully. So you should firstly read the case and then read the case carefully and put some notes in the notebook that is given to you. And then it's not a big deal to answer questions. If returning to your initial question, what was the hardest thing? I believe the hardest thing for me was the level of stress, because I passed exam in training center, and it was a very strange place in some college, and they have breaks between lectures, and it was extremely noisy, extremely stuffy here. So in general, it was an awful place to pass. But and the level of stress of your expectations from yourself, I don't know, that was the hardest thing for me. But the exam in general was not so complicated when you prepared a lot.
Okay. And do you remember approximately how many simulation exams did you take?
Yes, I
And what was the score that you were waiting to achieve in order to assume that, oh, I'm ready to take the exam?
For most curious people, you can open my LinkedIn and scroll to this beginning of the 2024, and I share the numbers of my attempts. But I passed the big attempt 3 times, and it's more than enough. Because when you're passing tests, you start see the same questions and you're answering not because you think and you analyze the question, but because you just remember the right answer. And when you face this situation, it means that you have to stop test this watermark, and you have to go and pass CBAP.
Oh, I see. Good point. And what about you, Günther? What was the hardest part of the actual exam? Not preparation, not afterwards, but during the process. And in what environment did you take the exam?
Yeah, very good question. Now I think my Wi-Fi should be stable again. Very sorry for these problems. Also, I need to correct this. I remembered it wrongly. Obviously, you need to do the scenarios after you did the easy questions. You're completely right. Yes, and I did the same as well. I tried to go as fast as possible through the normal multiple choice questions, and then took time to read through the scenarios. And yeah, what was hard about it? Yeah, I think probably reading the Babok and memorizing stuff. Like there is parts about it, like the understanding. I like this when I understand how Babok works and how things are exchanged between knowledge areas, like how it forms a cohesive whole basically, and it encourages you to work iteratively, and it gives you the feeling like you don't need to understand the whole big picture at first to do good work, but you will get a good understanding over time, and you get this framework. And this is nice to understand. But what I really did not like was memorizing which 50 techniques you need for task so and so. And you need it for all 60 tasks. You need to know all the techniques, and not only the techniques, also the stakeholders and the whatnots. Like, it was crazy. Yeah, there was a lot of memorizing involved. Yeah, and for me, it's a bit questionable the value it provides, actually, this memorizing to this degree, and this was hard. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to the values because I have some questions prepared regarding that. Meanwhile, I would like to remind our attendees that if you want your question to be answered by our panelists, please feel free to submit one. Okay, and regarding this scenario-based or case-based questions, was there any question type or anything or a knowledge area that triggered you, or was you were surprised that it was interpreted in a different way? Let's make this question more general. What was the part of the exam that made you think that this is something different and you have not covered this in a particular way during your present preparation? Yeah, Günther, maybe you can go first.
Was there something different than I expected? Well, I found the scenarios were even more complicated than in this watermark. To be honest, I was very surprised by my result after the CBAP. I passed it, and I passed it with very, very high scores. But after the exam, I thought, no chance I passed this, because the scenarios were really, really, really tough. It was a lot of math stuff. You really need to do some calculations, which is basically fine, but I did not expect it at all to that degree. It was very finance. It was very, very, very a lot of finance stuff there. Just not my favorite.
Okay, maybe we can move on to Veronika, and if you recall anything, please feel free to share. Veronika, maybe you can advise.
I cannot recall, but Günther just reminded me about this finance. So the technique financial analysis. So you just need to read it carefully and to learn ROI formula, and you will definitely have this question in CBAP. But I cannot remember something that confused me, that I prepared this and I faced with on exam with that. So no example.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's consistent. Definitely, IABA is very fair there in that sense.
Okay. We have one question from Katerina. Could you please share the techniques you use to memorize so huge amount of information?
Well, writing and reading, like I read it a lot of times, and then I made for each knowledge area those cards. I don't know if it works or if it will just blend it out. And on the
Yeah,
back
it blurs it out. Yeah, Günther.
on the back side, I put all the techniques for the different tasks. And basically, I wrote this in this form, and I also wrote it in other forms, like which technique is used the most per knowledge area, and just worked with the stuff basically.
So taking notes. Okay.
Well, not really taking notes, just like analyzing the BABOK on your own way, like really analyze this information you get there with your own way of looking at the world, basically.
Okay, and what about you, Veronika?
Totally agree. So don't even try to memorize everything. It's unrealistic. It's impossible. Don't even prepare yourself for that. So instead of try to structure the material in the way that works only for you, how you memorize information. For me personally, I didn't find any external schema or tables or something that helped me. Only those that were created by myself, my schemas, my notes, my tables and my associations, only they helped me to memorize, think, and understand the logic of the epoch, because it's not, it's impossible to read or to remember, to memorize everything.
Okay. Got it. Katerina, I hope we answered your question. If not, please submit it again, maybe in a different way so that our panelists can answer. Okay, I think we have covered path of preparation and exam experience, more or less, unless you want to add anything. Oh, by the way, the proctors from PSI, people are saying that everyone is having different experience with them. Because I'm not sure if our attendees are aware, but the way this proctoring works is that if you decide to take the exam at home, in your environment, or I don't know, in a room at your office, no one can enter your room. You're only allowed to take have one blank piece of paper that you have to show them that it's blank. This is based on what I've heard. Please make any remark if it's otherwise. And you can have a bottle of water, and you don't have to show a sticker on it. That's what I've heard. And you are actually asked to look around. They need to look around your environment, and you're actually asked to take this or camera or your laptop, and you have to move it so that they know how the floor looks like, or ceiling or walls, everything around you. My friend was asked to look underneath the table if there was anything, the chair and everything, yeah. And generally, I know about this PSI. On other exams also use PSI model. It's not only CBAP or IABA. There are plenty of other exams, for instance, AWS related and Kubernetes related exams that they use the same format. And they can ask you to take some items from the room, because I don't know, they might think that you have notes written over there. So anything can happen. But some say that they had a very pleasant experience. So maybe that moment you can highlight, Veronika, how was your experience with the proctors?
I passed in special center. I decided do not disturb myself with all this stuff, to show your room, to show your ears, and etc., etc. I just decided to walk to a training center, and that's it. So as I said, it was not so convenient place, at least here in Vilnius in Lithuania where I passed. But maybe in some places they are better. It was the same. There was a guy in front of the door. He looked at me, asked my phone to save my phone, to remove any watches or anything, to leave my bag in some special place in locker. And I only took a bottle of water, and he gave me like a plastic paper with a pen. It's not a paper itself, it's a plastic panel or so, and that's it. So you go to the room, sit in front of the extremely old computer with this old keyboard like we had in our lessons in schools. And yeah, so there might be a concern about these computers, but everything went well.
Yeah, that's great. Günther, what was your experience?
I did the self-proctored way, because the next test center is really far away. And yeah, it was a bit strange, but all in all, I would say it was a good experience. I was surprised that I was allowed to take some snacks with me. I could eat, actually.
Wow.
But I also needed to show very, very carefully the whole room, like the ceiling, the walls, the floor. And the online proctor was very strict. Like I needed to look very straight into the camera. I could not look too much down on my notes, like only a little bit, not too much to the side. This created some stress. And also at first he allowed me snacks. During half the exam, I ate some snacks. And then at some point he said, "Stop chewing gum or you will be out," or something like that. And I was, what? I don't understand. That was very weird. So yeah, just be prepared that something weird might happen. But all in all, it was okay, I would say. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
When
And
when you found the time to eat, Günther? There is no time.
It was the cacao nips. It was very fast, but yeah, good point.
Okay, and did you use your I think there is a 15-minute rest, right? That you can take during this 3.5 hour exam. Did you take one?
Yeah.
Me not.
No. Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. Let's move on to the value. So I would like you to be honest about what changed in your professional lives after obtaining the CBAP. Did it open any doors for you that was previously unexpected, or did it show up somewhere that you didn't anticipate before? Maybe, yeah, Günther, we can start with you since you're unmuted.
So yeah, now it's April and I finished in January, so it's only been a bit more than 3 months. Not really much has changed, to be honest. Like I would say maybe personally, I'm a tiny bit more confident in my BA skills, but mostly the learning process itself built up this confidence, not so much the title, I would say. Apart from that, I mention it on my resume, and I have the vague feeling that it's a good certificate also for product management, for example, but like really tangible things so far, not really, no.
Yeah. Okay. Fair point. Veronika, what will you say?
The biggest value for me is in preparation itself, because for me preparation is very deep reflection on my work. What I'm doing as a business analyst is the right way to approach the task. Have I involved the right stakeholders? So the reflection and analysis of your work experience is a huge value. But when I passed, in general, nothing has changed. So nobody asked me to. I didn't have a queue of employers to hire me. No, but it opened me doors to share my experience, to organize study groups, to be here. For example, you invited me because I passed CBAP, and if I'm talking about the job, I start thinking a bit from standards perspective, and I start to understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing. And if it's not according to best practice, that I understand why I'm moving, I'm doing the things not according to the best practices. So just in general, I start being more self-confident as a business analyst.
Got it. So because Veronika, you worked at EPAM where I currently work, I remember it vividly that during our monthly meetings, you were very much recognized for your achievement of getting CBAP certification. And I think it was not only me, but other people are actually asking you how you prepared and etc. So everyone knew that you were one of the first people who got recognized in our unit. So I think it is a big deal in some way because everyone understands it takes I don't know, huge courage and preparation to complete this exam. And also, what I would like to add, based on my research, I have seen that mostly in US and UK job markets, when they're posting the business analyst roles, they actually indicate that it's favorable to have CBAP certification. So that's actually where my interest came from, that if such international companies do require the certification, it is some way a gold standard to be recognized that you have the structured knowledge and you understand the terms and standards of business analysis the way that everyone should be. And you might actually speak the same language with the people who also have the certification or have started preparation for it. So yeah, I think it gives you some tangible values, but I think it needs some time to pass. And yeah, like a fine wine, it takes some time actually. So I think yeah, it may become more valuable afterwards. Yeah, one more point I wanted to discuss is that as you have seen, Georgia currently has only 6 CBAP certified professionals. And what information does this give you? What does this number say to you and about the local BA community? And what do you think needs to be changed in order to encourage people or encourage the growth of this community through obtaining the certifications or just getting knowledge based on BA book? Veronika, let's start with you this time.
In general, numbers are saying nothing to me. So 9 BAs is a lot or not, I don't know, or 9 or 6 you said.
Yeah.
So you cannot force somebody to pass CBAP because people don't understand why. They don't understand why because they are working right now on the projects, on the works, and they do everything correct as they think, and maybe they actually do. But this intention, this motivation to pass CBAP have to be from inside, from the some request, from the challenge to yourself, and to maybe to encourage to have this challenge, to try to risk, try to take this challenge as your career goal. That would be great. So, but as I said in the beginning, to find the real motivation, just a certificate can be this motivation as well. But you need to understand why you do this, or reflection of the work, or validation of your experience. Then I don't have any specific answer, or I don't have an opinion that 6 CBAP people is good or bad. That's just a number. So I can say about my statistics. So in 3 study groups, 46 people participated, but 9 of them passed exam. So is it a lot? Not? Who cares? But
yeah, fair point, fair point. Günther, anything you would like to add?
Well, 6 people in whole Georgia doesn't tell me much either. Like there would be some kind of reference, like needed some so 6 CBAPs per 1,000 business analysts. I don't know, in comparison to other countries. I don't know. Um,
What is the situation around you? Maybe you can reference to that. I mean,
mm,
in Germany, do you think, or in your area, are there many
mm,
people who hold this certification?
mm. That's a good question. That's a yeah. My feeling is that CBAP in general, these IABA certifications are more towards US-based jobs, and also more recognized in enterprise environments. So if it's like a big company, like big automotive or pharmaceuticals company, then they would rather know IABA, and there would be people who hold a certificate. But if you are like in, I don't know, how would you say, like smaller or something in between, people simply don't know it. They don't even know what a business analyst is. They know the work business analysts do, but they don't know the phrase business analysts, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. So to wrap up our panel discussion, I would like to ask two questions to each of you. So would you recommend any practical tip that probably was recommended to you or you can come up with that could be helpful for our audience to prepare or to do the exam? And yeah, this practical tip mainly. And if someone today, like me, is delaying passing this exam, what would you tell them? Veronika, let's start with you.
I believe I already mentioned all practical tips. If we're thinking about that, read the book once, then with your notes, then read the book twice to find points that you have missed, to have one chapter per week, to analyze all techniques if you used them or not used them, how you used them, and why you did not use this technique. To do this reflection about techniques as well. And and only after reading the whole B book twice, go and pass watermark tests. And it will encourage you to read B book the third time. And do not pass tests a lot. Just, it will be 2 months, honestly, 2 months of testing enough. And and as I said, how to do not postpone the exam when you're answering the tests in watermark and you start see repeated questions and you answered on them, not because of your analysis, but because of you remember the answer. Stop doing this and go and pass CBAP.
Great. Günther?
I also shared a lot of things that work for me when it comes to how to memorize the stuff. I can quickly repeat. It's basically sum up how BABOK works, but from your specific reference frame. And maybe even try to write this down quickly and train writing this down, because you have this notes sheet during the exam, and when you have your framework, how it works on 2 pages, and you can quickly write it down and you have it all the time, it gave me a lot of security.
Yeah. Okay.
Except from that, maybe motivation is a crucial thing. From the very start, get your motivation very clear. Do you really, really want to do this? And why you really want to do this? And maybe the answer is no, I don't really need to do it, and then don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair one. Okay. I think we can wrap the panel discussion part. We have one small part to present after this. But I would like to thank you a lot, Veronika, Günther, for your participation and accepting my proposal to attend such meeting and participate as panelists. Highly appreciated. And best of luck from our chapter to you in all your endeavors. Let me quickly grab the screen again to continue a small bit of our presentation. Yeah, I hope everyone can see my screen. Yeah, we're planning study groups after this. Namely, this is something that Veronika also referred to. So if you're considering taking CBAP and prefer not to prepare alone for this, you can actually join the study group initiative within this chapter. And these are more collaborative and require your active participation. And please note that this is not a passive learning option. So you have to actually have your input within the study group. And it's a great way to prepare through discussion with the peers and discussing the real case applications. Yes, I'll jump over this because we'll be soon out of time. Please note that we're also looking for volunteers to help grow the BA community in Georgia. If you're interested in any way contributing to the events, writing articles, organizing the events, having talks yourselves, and etc., we will be happy to hear from you and get you involved and on board. Next up will be our meeting, the CBAP mock challenge. We actually did the same for ECBA event. We will actually pull up a quiz that will involve different questions related to actually from the different exam types related to CBAP. And let's see how we all can answer. And it's a good way of you evaluating your hours against CBAP. So that's a wrap. Thank you all for attending this meeting. Highly appreciated. Hope you'll be able to join our other meetings as well. You can follow us using our website, LinkedIn, or Facebook. We mostly post all our updates on LinkedIn, so we'll be happy to hear from you. And one of the people asked regarding the presentation, please reach out to us and we can hand over this presentation to you shortly. And again, the recording will be uploaded to our social media platforms shortly after the meeting ends. If there are no other questions, and I'm looking into chat, I think, yeah, we have cleared all the questions. Many thanks to all for attending. Many thanks for your attention, and stay with us and keep up with our next events. Thank you all, and goodbye.